This is problem 4.16 from Chapter 4, Brigham and Houston, Fundamentals of Financial Management, Concise, 9th edition. We're given a whole pile of information about Commonwealth construction. They are getting started. They're going to need $3 million in assets. They have a choice. They can finance up to 30% of the assets with debt, and the debt would have an 8% interest rate. If it uses the debt, it's going to reduce their net income by the amount of interest they pay, which is 8% of the interest-bearing debt. If it uses all equity, they won't have any interest charges, but they'll have a lower return on all else held constant. They might have a lower return on equity. All right, so what we're looking for is the difference in return on equity if they use debt rather than pure equity financing. All right, let's start out with the assets. The assets under the leveraged would be with debt, and no leverage would be pure equity. So the assets are going to be $3 million either way. So it's $3 million of assets. If they use leverage, then the debt will be 30% of total assets. No leverage means that's going to be zero. That would mean that the equity here with no leverage would be the full $3 million, but it'd only be $2,100,000 under the leverage plan because they're using other people's money. All right, the BEP ratio would be the same under either plan, okay, of 35%. The BEP ratio, that is earnings before interest and taxes divided by assets, okay? So this way I would have earnings before interest and taxes under either plan of $1,050,000. The interest expenses would be zero under the no leverage plan. Under the leverage plan, since I have an interest rate of 8%, the interest expense would be 8% on $900,000. So my taxable income is going to be lower under the leverage plan. All right, I've got a tax rate of 40% under either plan. So taxes would be 40% here, 40% here, and I get my net income under either plan. All right, so net income is lower under the leverage plan than the unleveraged plan. All right, but the question is, what's the ROE? And the ROE is net income over equity. And the question is asking us what's the difference between the two plans. Net income over less equity, and here we have a net of close to 28%. Here it's 21%. The answer is that the difference, the leverage plan would have a higher return on equity by nearly 7%. Okay, so if it finances these assets with 30% debt, its net income per dollar of equity will be 7 percentage points higher.